What kind of monster pours acid on a kid and calls it justice? That's the question I kept asking myself, over and over, as I sat by my son's hospital bed, watching his skin blister under the gauze. It was a Saturday morning in Meadow Creek, the kind of day that tricks you into thinking the world's a safe place. Blue skies, birds singing, the smell of charcoal from a neighbor's grill. My boy Ethan, just 12, was out back with his grandma, Evelyn, sorting gardening tools, his old Spider. Well, you know how kids are at that age: messy hair, mismatched socks, still belying the World's Fair. Then a black SUV rolled up, no plates, windows tinted like it was hiding something. And that's when everything went to hell. The truck didn't just park, it prowled. Two guys got out, built like they spent too much time at the gym, dressed in black tactical pants, military boots, and tight shirts, screaming, "HOA enforcement," in bold white letters. One was bald, tattoos crawling down his neck. The other heavy wire, with a jaw that looked like it was always chewing on something bitter. Meadow Creek's got an HOA, sure, but it's the kind that nags you about your mailbox tilting or your grass growing too long. These guys? They weren't from any HOA I knew. No clipboard, no friendly wave, just hard eyes and boots hitting the concrete like they owned the place. Afternoon. The heavy one grunted, staring at our pool like it owed him money. Ethan, holding a garden hose, looked up, all innocence, and asked, "Can I help you?" The bald one shot back, "Got a permit for that pool maintenance." Evelyn, confused, said, "Excuse me?" That's when the heavy guy pulled a 5-gallon jug from the SUV, olive green with a biohazard label slapped on it. "This unit's flagged for chemical violation," he said. "We're here to neutralize." "Neutralize?" Evelyn echoed, but before she could finish, he tipped the jug. Greenish liquid poured out, hissing on the concrete, splashing Ethan's arm, legs, neck. He screamed a sound that ripped the air apart, a sound no parent should ever hear. I was in the kitchen when it happened. My coffee mug hit the floor, shattering as I ran barefoot through the house, over glass and mulch, nothing matching but that scream. Ethan was crumpled on the pool deck, his skin bubbling, blistering, red and raw. He clawed at his shirt, sobbing, writhing. I dropped beside him, terrified to touch him, my hands hovering uselessly. "Oh my God, what did you do?" Evelyn was screaming, dialing 911, her voice cracking. The two men just stood there, one smirking, the other arms crossed, like they were watching a show. "He was warned," the heavy one muttered. "Should have followed HOA guidelines." "You maniac!" I shouted. "He's a child," the bald one sneered. "No one said you could talk to enforcement like that." And then, like they hadn't just burned my son, they turned and walked back to their truck. I lunged, blind with rage, but tripped, my knees slamming the pavement. "Get back here, you cowards!" I screamed, but their tires screeched, leaving rubber streaks and a chemical stench. I crawled to Ethan. His eyes, wide with terror, locked on mine. "I tried to tell them it was wrong," he choked out. "I know, baby," I whispered, my heart breaking. Paramedics arrived in 7 minutes that felt like forever. They cut Ethan's clothes off, his skin so blistered it peeled away with the fabric. One EMT, a guy named Tom, muttered, "This isn't pool cleaner. This is something else. Find them," I begged. "Please." The ER at Riverside General smelled of bleach and despair. Ethan lay under a thin blanket, for in his arm, oxygen tubes in his nose, his skin a patchwork of angry red and gauze. Machines beeped, cold and uncaring. Evelyn clutched her purse like it could hold her together. I sat, numb, in a plastic chair that dug into my back. 4 hours later, a cop showed up, Detective Larson, heavy-set, thinning hair, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Mrs. Bennett," he said, flipping open a notepad. "Sorry about your boy." I stood, heart pounding. "Did you catch them?" He hesitated. "We're canvassing. Black SUV, no plates, fake HOA shirts. No clear camera footage, no witnesses with a plate. You think this was random?" I snapped. He shrugged. Could be vigilante HOA crap. We see it sometimes. Vigilantes? I said, incredulous. They tried to kill him. Larson sighed. Probably meant to scare, not kill. It's complicated. Complicated? I spat. My son's fighting to keep his skin. He scribbled something, muttered about following up, and left. Evelyn squeezed my arm. They're not gonna help us, she said. She was right. The next morning, I dragged myself to an emergency HOA meeting. The room stank of bad coffee and denial. Carl Whitaker, the HOA president, fiddled with his tie and read from a script. The board extends sympathies to the Bennett family. Then the kicker. These IndyVY duels were not official HOA representatives. I stared, jaw dropped. You're serious? You're dodging this? Carl's smile was pure lawyer. We can't be liable for impersonators. Our volunteers carry ID. You made those shirts. I shot back. This is your mess. Board members squirmed. Evelyn stood, trembling. A child's in the hospital, and you say not our problem? Carl mumbled about legal counsel and shut it down. No action. Nothing. Ethan's burns got infected. His fever spiked, and he drifted in and out of fevered sleep, crying in pain. The police sent one update. Case pending. No suspects. A news clip about suspicious HOA impersonators. Didn't even name Ethan before MOVYing on. Neighbors stopped while VYing. Whispers spread, we were exaggerating, chasing a lawsuit. Ethan asked for it. An anonymous HOA newsletter hinted at personal responsibility for a 12-year-old. I sat by his bed, listening to the machines, feeling the world crack open. This wasn't just about Ethan. It was about how easily I could dress up as authority, and how fast people looked away when it wasn't their kid. The day we brought Ethan home, Meadow Creek looked wrong. The sun shone, lawns gleamed, but it felt rotten. Ethan shuffled inside, pale, thin, scars hidden under loose clothes, MOVYing slow on crutches. Evelyn fussed, wiping tears, pretending to dust. That night, alone at the kitchen table, my coffee cold, I decided, if no one else would find them, I would. Private investigators laughed. HOA vigilantes. Really? But the 12th call, to a guy named Frank Holt, a retired Army intel officer, changed everything. Frank, all gray beard and scowls, met me at a dive diner. I told him everything: the attack, the cover-up, the neighborhood silence. He grunted. I don't like bullies hiding behind fake badges. Deal done. Frank worked fast. He pulled footage from gas stations, intersections, even a laundromat near the HOA office. He found the SUV at a gas station 2 miles away, 20 minutes before the attack. Grainy video showed the bald guy's tattoo an eagle with a sword. Frank cross-referenced databases. The bald guy was Derek Vance, a disgraced rent-a-cop with a history of violence, always settled out of court. The heavy guy? Still nameless, but Frank said, they run in packs. Find one, you find the nest. 3 days later, he found it, a training academy, in rural Fairfield County, posing as an HOA consulting firm. Really, it was a thug factory run by Nathan Klein, a former Meadow Creek HOA consultant fired for aggressive patrols harassing kids, fining veterans, then swept under the rug. Klein didn't stop. He went rogue, training civilians to play cop with fake badges, tactical gear, and intimidation. Ethan wasn't their first victim. Frank found complaints across 5 counties: vandalism, threats, harassment, but nothing as brutal as this. They'd crossed the line, and they thought they'd skate. Frank's file photos, chat logs, manuals preaching, escalate fast, control optics, made me sick. Ethan hobbled in, saw the laptop, and asked, Is that them? Yeah, I said. We're gonna stop them. He nodded, no tears, no smile, just steel in his eyes. Frank had a plan. You won't win in court. Systems protect guys like this. So we hit the public. Next morning, He brought a beat-up camera and a stack of EVY denke. Ethan sat on the couch, bandages peeking out, voice shaky but clear, telling his story. The SUV, the chemical, their smiles as he screamed. No music, no edits. The truth was horror enough. We uploaded it, expecting a few shares. Within 12 hours, 40,000 VYUs. By 24, national news. By day 2, networks were at our door. Meadow Creek wasn't quiet anymore. Reporters, lawyers, feds, everything exploded. Frank handed his EVY denke to the FBI and DOJ. Arrest warrants dropped for Klein, Vance, and 4 others. Vance was nabbed at a motel, half-shaved, trying to bolt. Charges: chemical assault, impersonation, extortion, child endangerment. No bail. The academy was raided. Fake badges, chemical stockpiles, domination manuals, and records of illegal fines across states. The HOA board fired half its members, issued apologies, and axed its security team. Too late. A class action lawsuit hit, 78 families strong, us included. The walls closed in on them. Ethan, scarred but unbroken, became a symbol. A year later, Meadow Creek had changed. The HOA was gutted, new rules locked down compliance. But the real change stood in the community park, a bronze statue of a boy, not quite Ethan but close, arm raised, defiant, a crumpled HOA badge at his feet. The plaque read, "To those who stand against false authority, in honor of Ethan Bennett and every family who refused to be silenced." At the unveiling, neighbors came, some proud, some crying. Ethan didn't speak. He just touched the statue's hand and smiled, scars and all. They tried to ruin him. Instead, they made him a beacon of resistance, justice, hope. And the world was watching.